Hey guys, this is Issues with Taddy One Skip. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever you're eating. I'm hungry too. Tell me what it is. Coffee, tea, matcha, orange juice, apple juice, tomato juice, Bloody Mary mix. Tell me, guys. I want a Spanglish sandwich with eggs this time. So that's my goal, to pick up my eggs in the morning. Guys, how you doing? I mean, the community's over 10,400 people. Thank you so much, guys. I so appreciate it. I hope that you know that. First of all, let me just say this. So I have a post on my community post that has a link for the justice for Corey, the Christopher Gregor sentencing, August 2nd in Toms River, New Jersey, about noon. I'm going to be there, guys. I hope that you guys will be there too. We're asked to wear blue and have signs up, Justice for Corey. Okay, guys, so please go to my community page, go to the link, and Holly Jolly is going to help us out with that. So I appreciate that, and special shout out, Holly Jolly. Thank you so much. Thank you. Guys, it seems like you seem to be very interested in what I was saying about my theory about Gypsy Rose. So what if? I want to show you this, because this just kind of adds to a theory that I believe is coming together here. So let's listen to this, guys.
Okay, so would there be any reason that she would have bruises on her arms or her legs?
Yes, because she wanted me to mark my territory.
Okay, mark your territory.
Yeah.
She asked you to mark your territory?
Yeah, she actually, the first time.
You know it's okay if you're the one that asked. You don't think that there's no crime there.
Why in the world would Gypsy want him to put bruises on her so that it could appear that she was ATTACKED? So it looks like she was the victim here, and maybe he was the perpetrator. Think about it, guys. Just think about it for 1 second. He, and I believe him, he says Gypsy wanted me to mark my territory. My territory was her. So that caused bruising. The KNIFE was sent back to Nick's house, right? It was sent to Nick's house, so the weapon was in Nick's possession, right? With maybe Nick's blood on the weapon as well, because remember, he had cut himself. So, and DeeDee's DNA. And there was no ticket for Gypsy to get out of Dodge, to get out of Springfield, Missouri, that is. And everything else was handled. Everything else was taken care of. Everything else, but no way for Gypsy to get out. Nick was asked to put hands on her so that she was bruised. The Facebook postings. Remember those Facebook postings? See, some of you have said, well, what was Gypsy going to do? Was Gypsy going to stay in the house with possibly Dan if Dan was involved? Because we're going to hear where Nick mentions Dan in the interrogation room. Out of the blue, just mentions Dan. How did that come into play?
I apologize to everyone except for Dan. Dan's the only one I would not apologize to. Apparently she decided to just go with it. And screw it. Me, I actually held together until I learned that she didn't lie.
Guys, let's listen to this again, because I think that I hear him say that he was the only one that held it together, right? He was the only one that held it together, which would imply, after everything he said here, that maybe Dan was there. And doesn't he say something at the beginning that Gypsy was going to go with him and he would have been screwed? Doesn't he say something like that at the beginning? I'm just actually hearing this part now. Let's listen again.
Apparently she decided to just go with it. And screw it. Me, I actually held together until I learned that she didn't lie.
Guys, I've heard this before, but I didn't hear it. You know what I mean? Like, I've listened to it before. But this stuff, like, it's plain as day. Right? I really do think Nick wasn't supposed to leave that house. Something was supposed to happen. Nick wasn't supposed to leave that house. Gypsy was going to disappear and just never be seen again. But the Facebook posting that the mom was unalived and the daughter was violated and maybe couldn't be found. My feeling is because Gypsy could not stay in that home. Everybody thought she couldn't walk. The neighbors and everybody thought she couldn't walk, right? Because they were stunned when she was walking. They felt betrayed and lied to, right? So she wasn't going to live in the Habitat for Humanity house. That wasn't the case. I don't believe that. I believe that Gypsy wanted out and she felt she needed to get out because no longer could she benefit as being a child. They couldn't move her date anymore to make her a child anymore. Like, they couldn't keep moving her birth date. She was already 19. That's how old she was. There was no changing that when she was really 24. So they couldn't go back any further. So the benefits that she was getting, those were going to end. The benefits of a child were going to end. So maybe they were going to have to live on SSI because all the special treatments were going to end because nobody really cares about adults, right? They pity children. People take pity more on children than they do adults with disabilities, right? Because children tend to be helpless. Not Gypsy Rose, however. Not at all. But that's what she was seen to be. So that's what everybody believed her as, not what was going on inside that house, which was absolute craziness, apparently, right?
Now, in their house, is their house really clean and neat, or is it...
No, it is not neat at all.
It's not?
That was the first time ever in their house, and I can't believe how much of a pigsty it was.
Oh.
I told you she's a slob. I told you. Even Nick said. You could believe her lies, or you could trust what people see. So, there's the Facebook pages that more or less say Gypsy was a victim. There's the bus ticket that was never bought. There's the weapon that was sent back to Nick. There's the bruises on Gypsy that she asked Nick to put on. What she didn't count on, she didn't care if Nick was going to tell the truth now, because she thought that she was going to outsmart Nick. But Nick's story stayed the same. He didn't budge. Gypsy's story changed a million times. So they believed Nick.
You said one time that you were in room, what, 227?
Yep.
Did you ever stay in a different room?
Yes.
Okay, what room was that?
That one right next to 226.
226. And why did you switch rooms?
Because we ended up checking out when we didn't realize that
Okay.
the whole bus situation happened, and that's why it turned into what it did.
Okay, that makes sense. How did you know where the money was at in Dee's room?
She told me.
Okay, did you get it before you killed Dee or after you killed Dee?
After.
Okay, and she told you which drawer it was?
Yep.
Did she ever come into the bedroom?
She just refused. No matter what, she refused.
Okay.
I did that for her and only for her. Not for us. So yeah, it was for us. I wouldn't have cared if it wasn't for us. So it was the only way to be together.
But I don't think Nick was supposed to walk out of that house that night.
The thing is, I've only experienced my evil side coming out one time to actually do what happened.
Oh, okay, so this is the first time you experienced the evil side coming out. Was what you did on that night. Okay.
Yeah.
So your evil side hasn't came out before and caused you to do anything?
No, nothing like that. No.
Okay, just this one time.
Yep.
So in 26 years, your evil side never came out and hurt anybody or did anything else except for on this night?
Yep.
Okay.
So guys, let's wrap this up because I've had like all day to think about it while I try to help my dog that is having such a hard time right now. Guys, here's what I think. I think that Gypsy did all of this. I think that there was a slow, agonizing unaliving of her mom. And I think Gypsy did it. I think she was gonna frame Nick and he was gonna be unalived. And I think she wanted to leave with all of that money and leave with Dan. That's what I think. I think Dan got to the scene and said, I want nothing to do with this shit. I think Nick was on his way. I think she wanted Dan to help. And Dan said, I want nothing to do with this. And I think he took off. I think it was too late to turn the hands back on the clock of time. And Gypsy had to come up with something real quick. And that was, well, I can't stay here. Let me go to, let me just go with him. I have no choice. Let me just go with him. And they sent the weapon back. But I think originally the weapon was going to stay there with Nick. And it was going to be a self-defense thing. Or just be a fight between him and DeeDee. It would have maybe appeared as that and Gypsy just would have been gone. That's what I think. Guys, I really appreciate you. Don't forget, be better today than you were yesterday. Not half as good as you'll be tomorrow. Always be kind. Never be anything or anybody close to the Blanchards. All right, guys, take care.